agree 100%. Let's not fool ourselves, guys. Nick Saban chose Tua Tagovailoa over Jalen Hurts on the collegiate level for a reason, okay? He chose to transfer and go to Oklahoma, to the Big 12, where they don't play any defense. Okay, he shined there in that one season. But if you go back, there's got to be something in the sauce here, where Nick Saban chose Tagovailoa, who's no great shakes on the professional level either, but Saban saw something between those two guys where he chose to go the other way, other than with Jalen Hurts in the highest of high situations on the collegiate level. Made those comments on Sunday night, and you were there, John. It really shines a light into the disarray, in my opinion, of where this Eagle defense is at right now. Now, we mentioned that they don't have big-time talent at linebacker. I think the corners have done a decent job.
They have, yeah.
I really do think that Nelson has been admirable here with Slay.
Voice to the Philadelphia Eagles and Espanol. Rickie Ricardo hops aboard with us. How are you, Mr. Ricardo?
Hello there, gentlemen. I am well. Yourselves?
Yeah, there's that voice. I'm excited. So I got to give a personal apology to Rickie right off the bat.
Oh, it won't be the first time, McMullen. Won't be the first
time. Game days are tough, Rickie. Game days are tough, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was knocked out.
Gets invited on the Ricardo radio program on WIP on several occasions for fresh news right there, a couple of hours after the Eagles have taken a defeat, a right to the jaw per se, but McMullen nowhere to be found.
Well, there are many times I've been on the Rickie Ricardo show as well.
No, you have.
I'm not like an O-boy or anything of that nature.
That's why you keep getting invited back on the program. Now, my spotters in Las Vegas already told me that they saw you on the strip, okay, in good company, okay. I might add. So I'm going to forgive you.
Well, I will say the walk, I was at the MGM Grand. So the walk, and I said this, from the lobby to the elevator, and casinos, they make you walk through the casino to try to distract you. It's a nice walk, and it's not, you're not enjoying the slot machines, but it's a aesthetically nice walk if you get where you
got
going.
Distracted, and that's fine. I understand being distracted in Vegas and coming on my program. I get it, but it's okay. I love you, John. Yeah.
All right, and we love the fact that you're on with us, Rickie. What we don't love is the way the Eagles are playing right now. 2-5 is 2-5. There's no other way to slice it, and it's not just even 2-5. It's a bit of an ugly 2-5. With questions that we can't find as an answer as analysts, as guys who follow the team. How would you rate this Eagle coaching staff as of right now, 7 games into their first year together?
Is there a category that says in over their heads, way over their heads? That's the way I look at this coaching staff. We get Merrill Reese, Mike Quick, and myself, we're basically next door to each other when we're doing the games. They don't travel either. So we're at Lincoln Financial Field. And what the NFL has done for us is they give us about 3 in each booth, huge television monitors, and a lot of different angles. It's very much, Jody, like what Major League Baseball does for road games for the broadcaster. So we see things crystal clear, up close, and just the body language and the look on the face of Nick Sirianni, Jonathon Gannon, and some of these coaches, just the look on their face during the game when things don't go their way, you can tell that they're uncomfortable, that they're cutting their teeth at the same time that supposedly some of these young Eagle players that we're, evaluating this year, it's the blind leading the blind almost sometimes during these games. How they could accept a 10-yard holding penalty, for example, in Sunday's game, instead of just getting the ball where the Raiders punt team had already come on the field. And for Ciriani to say, well, no, I'll take the 10 yards against a team that was number 1 in the National Football League in plays of over 20 yards. Now you're going to make it 3rd and whatever it was, 16, 15.
15.
You're going right up their alley. That's what they do best, the Raiders. Big play. Bang, zoom. There's Carr. There's the throw. Now, they got bailed out later on that drive because of the interception off the rebound that Maddox was able to pick it off. But that's just an example to me that Sirianni is going by the book. He's looking at his little cheat sheet, and he's making decisions that make absolutely no sense. So I guess to answer your question, I think they're in way, way over their heads.
That's an interesting point, Ricky, because I look at that play and I say, I see more of a game management issue than the decision. Look, either way, it's 3rd and 15. That's where you want an opposing offense in. That's what the Eagles are supposed to do. Get the hell off the field on 3rd and 15.
You want with 130 field.
Well, yeah.
Your defense off
and
the
that's
field.
why I bring up the game management part of it, because who's watching from above? Who's saying to Nick Sirianni in his ear, no. Because Nick Sirianni's thinking at it. He explained it as, if it's 4th and 3, I'm going to go for it there. So that was his thought process. That's what he claimed after the game. But why isn't there a coach in his ear saying they're bringing on the punt team? That is my bigger issue with that. Ryan Paganetti, we have on the show occasionally, Jody and I, he used to be Doug Peterson's game management specialist.
Right.
I assume Nick Sirianni has that, but he won't say it on record. To me, you got to have some help. You can't be a head coach in this league thinking about calling plays, thinking about the next play, and also game managing, which I think you're right. He's in over his head. He's got to delegate some of his stuff. Do you see that, or is it too much on his plate for a young coach?
I think there's too much on his plate for a young coach. Now we're 7 games into his first season. Maybe he could get over the hump here and take these bruises and eventually become the second coming of Vince Lombardi. Who knows? But I tell you what, as of right now, 7 games into his tenure in an NFC East. Look, I've got the Cowboys streaming show, which is sort of an equivalent of what 365 is. And I was, just before I came on, I was listening to our buddy Brad Sham talking to Ezekiel Elliott back here, watching this Cowboys hour. And they're just floating away into the sunset. They're going to have this division clinched by Thanksgiving. I just don't see, as bad as things are going for the Eagles, I don't see any real advantage to anything that this team is doing week after week. There's no redeemable value coming out of these losses. It's the blind leading the blind. It's young coaches making bad decisions, which in turn don't allow guys like Jody, John, Ed Kratz. I could go down the list. It doesn't allow guys like us to be able to really evaluate some of this young talent, especially Jalen Hurts. I just don't see any progress. Sometimes in losses, you can see some light at the end of the tunnel, and there's just nothing redeemable coming out of these performances.
Ricky, here's what scares me the most about Jalen Hurts. And I was good with him as a starting quarterback to give him the full year to evaluate him, that maybe they could find a second-round diamond in the rough and be good at quarterback so they don't have to go looking elsewhere. His quarterback pass completion rate seems to drop every single week. And
Correct.
As of right now, he's at 61 and change. 61 and change isn't going to get it done, specifically when the head coach has the offense tailored to throw short what are supposed to be easy passes. A lot of wide receiver screens, a lot of just plain screens to back. That's supposed to be a high percentage throw. And if he's only at 61%, Ricky, that's not going to be good enough.
No, I agree 100%. Let's not fool ourselves, guys. Nick Saban chose Tua Tagovailoa over Jalen Hurts on the collegiate level for a reason, okay? He chose to transfer and go to Oklahoma, to the Big 12, where they don't play any defense. Okay, he shined there in that one season. But if you go back, there's got to be something in the sauce here, where Nick Saban chose Tagovailoa, who's no great shakes on the professional level either. But Saban saw something between those two guys where he chose to go the other way, other than with Jalen Hurts in the highest of high situations on the collegiate level. And now we're watching Jalen Hurts on the pro level. Really is a reflection of what we're seeing of Hurts as a pro is a reflection of what we saw of Hurts in college.
Yeah, so you're right, Ricky. You're right, exactly. And it was that receiving group, I'm told from someone in Alabama, that kind of pushed for the move from Hurts to Tua, because they thought Tua could get them the football in the middle of the field. We see some of those same issues with Jalen at the pro level, likes to throw it outside the numbers, not comfortable going into the middle of the field. That's going to kind of limit your offense. Now, the Eagles made a move at the quarterback position. Doesn't seem like a big deal. Joe Flacco wasn't playing. He's back with the Jets, veteran backup, but that elevates Gardner Minshew, a younger guy. And look, I don't think the answer at the quarterback position in Philadelphia is here yet. But I do think Nick Sirianni's offense would be opened up a little bit more with a Gardner Minshew type quarterback. Am I overrating that? Simply don't know. Didn't see enough of them in Jacksonville. I think the Eagles could do more things. I'm not sure how successful they would be, but they'd be more comfortable doing more things.
No, not only that, John, and I happen to agree with you, but at least you've got a quarterback in waiting during game day. Joe Flacco was going to bring nothing to the Eagles. He was there in case Hurts got hurt. There was no progress. There was nothing you were going to read or be able to evaluate if Joe Flacco got into a game. It is different with Gardner Minshew. If Minshew gets in, whether it's because Hurts is not performing well enough or Hurts gets injured and has to come out of the game, but at least if Minshew comes in, you will see another dimension and another kind of quarterback with a different skill set as compared to Jalen Hurts. I saw enough of Minshew as a Jacksonville Jaguar to be at least intrigued by what he could do. And I agree with you. I don't think the long-term answer at quarterback is on that roster right now. But it is intriguing to me to be able to see something different at quarterback. And maybe Sirianni's, system works a lot better with somebody else. Who knows? I just need another look at some point to be able to say, okay, well, maybe it was Hurts, or maybe it was Ciriani, maybe it was the game plan. I just don't see, with Flacco, we would not have seen anything to be able to compare one thing with the other. With Minshew, I think there's at least a chance to evaluate either the coach or really get into the detail of the quarterback play with Hurts on this Eagle team.
All right, Ricky, need a prediction out of you. I'm looking at the box score from week 1 when the Eagles beat the Falcons. They actually ran the ball with a running back 24 times. Miles Sanders had 15 carries. Kenneth Gainwell had 9. Jalen took off and ran it 7 times. Taking quarterback keeps and designated run plays from the quarterback position out, I'm going to maybe overly optimistic here, but say the Eagles run the ball 20 times this week. Hand it to a running back 20 times this week.
No Miles Sanders, remember.
I know. That's why I'm saying maybe this is overly optimistic, but it wouldn't be their number 1 running game of the year. I'm tying this into the fact that I think the Lions stink on ice. So they're not going to be playing from 2 touchdown down like they usually do. So, yes, they're going to actually run it 20 times. If I'm correct.
I will give you the Ricardo answer, historical call. No, senor. No, senor. No, senor.
Well, then, all right, then forget about my 20. Give me the breakdown of the running attempts for the Philadelphia Eagles this year, discounting Jalen Hurts keeps. Who's getting the ball how many times?
I'm assuming Miles Sanders is not playing this week, gentlemen?
Correct. Yes.
They have not ruled him out, but he's not playing.
Okay.
He's not playing.
So we're talking about a backfield of who? Gainwell, maybe Jordan Howard is elevated off the practice squad.
Boston Scott, don't forget Boston Scott, the Eagles have, but don't forget Boston Scott.
Yeah. At max, and if we're talking a backfield of Gainwell, Boston Scott, and let's say Jordan Howard for conversation's sake, 15 rushes max. And I think you'd have to twist Ciriani's arm, or somebody's got to whisper it into his ear one way or the other to get to the 15 rushes. I just don't see it. I
like 15. And by the way, if they go 15, Ricky, I'm going to go. I want to throw this in there. I'm going to throw Boston Scott gets more carries than Kenny Gainwell.
That's what I was asking. That's what I wanted out of Ricardo. Who's going to be the main guy?
In that troika that we just mentioned, we have seen Boston Scott produce in the past, and I actually had been calling on my broadcast anyway. Had been calling for a little bit more of our little mighty might number. 35. Does he wear Boston?
35.
Scott?
Yeah.
35. I'm looking for more 35 in these first 7 games. I agree. Look, I think Gainwell is a good change of pace guy. I don't think he's a lead running back. Good receiver coming out of the backfield, as we saw the other day, catching the ball over the middle and getting into the end zone. So in a revamped running attack, if you're not counting on Miles Sanders, and as Jody mentioned, not counting on the Jalen Hurts element, then I think Scott becomes your lead back. 15 carries, I would hope to see. I don't think you'll get any more than that, especially against the Lions. An 0-7 Lions team this week with Dan Campbell obviously desperate for a win. I think it would do the Eagles well if they did use the ground game a little more. I just don't see it in the DNA of this coaching staff. 15 carries, the most for the backs, not counting what Jalen Hurts is going to give you. And hopefully that'll work and get them out of Ford Field with a win.
Yeah, with a big Boston Scott this week, you would hope the Giants would be on the schedule. Boston Scott, Giants killer Boston Scott, but it's the Detroit Lions first. Mm-hmm. I do want to shift to the defense, Ricky, because they're taking the heat more than the offense this week. And a lot of that comes down to Fletcher Cox and his comments after the game. And he was pretty honest about how passive this group, a lot of cover 2, a lot of soft zone. Tom Brady's completing 80+% of his passes, which isn't a big deal because it's Tom Brady. But then Derek Carr's over 90%. Dak Prescott, 4th time quarterback has completed over 80% of his passes. It looks like 7-on-7 out there. Is Jonathon Gannon that bad, or are the linebackers that bad?
Well, this isn't exactly, the 85 Bears linebacking core. Let's start there. But I am just as puzzled by the scheme defensively as Fletcher Cox is. I was able to rewatch last night Seth Joyner's comments about what Fletcher Cox said. And Joyner really opened my eyes to something. He thinks that this defense right now is completely in shambles. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not quoting. But when Fletcher Cox made those comments on Sunday night, and you were there, John, it really shines a light into the disarray, in my opinion, of where this Eagle defense is at right now. Now, we mentioned that they don't have big-time talent at linebacker. I think the corners have done a decent job.
They have, yeah.
I really do think that Nelson has been admirable here with Slay in the backfield. The other day, Epps got burnt one time over the middle. But really, the secondary, I don't think, has been the main culprit of what ills this defense. But up front, some of these guys have disappeared in these games. I mean, absolutely disappeared. You're talking some very high-priced talent on the defensive line and in this rotation that was supposed to be the strength of this team. And I'm never going to accuse guys of jocking it. I won't do that. But I tell you what, some of the effort that I've seen here, especially in the last couple of weeks, It looks to me either the schematics just don't work, or maybe some of these guys have mentally checked out because they just don't believe in what this defensive coordinator is doing. So that's a huge concern for me. We'll see against Jared Goff and the Lions on Sunday if they can get that turned around.
Yeah, if they're checked out against Lions, that's a really, really bad sign because this is absolutely a winnable game for the Eagles. Someone mentions to me last night on WIP, Ricky, one of my callers, they were afraid of the upcoming game because the Lions are going to want to go out and win one for Deuce. Deuce has been there a couple of months, 7 whole games. There's probably a couple guys on defense he can't even name, he couldn't recognize. But he plays safety for us. He's so entrenched in his job, which is running the backs and the offense and the like. You don't buy that, do you? Win one for the Deuce?
No, I don't buy that one bit. If anything, the Lions gave the Rams a run for their money this past week in the battle of the ex-quarterbacks. I don't know if they expanded too much energy and maybe have here I am talking about a letdown about a team
that's the Lion letdown. I like it, Ricardo.
A little Lions letdown because they saw Stafford last week and Goff was back on the West Coast. Look, I think Campbell is just desperate for a win. If anything, the Lions are probably looking at their schedule and circling the Eagles on the calendar and saying, here's the team that we can beat and get our first win. Okay, so mentally, I'm more worried about the fact that everything that we're talking about here that you guys have break down so eloquently during the week, that Campbell and the Lions staff is saying, here's where, win numero uno is going to come out of when this Eagle team, which is right now in shambles, comes into Ford Field on Sunday afternoon. I don't think it's so much Deuce, Jody, than the mere fact that right now that Lions team is saying, here's where our, no win streak can come to an end.
Yeah, battle of coaching heavyweights, Dan Campbell and Nick Sirianni. I do want to say, to Jody's point, more of the Eagles would probably want to win one for Deuce Staley than the Lions. I mean,
if there's any emotion attached to Deuce Staley, I would think it's from the Eagles side than from the Lions side.
Yeah. I do, when you started this, you said something interesting, and this is not about the Eagles, but you guys don't get to travel anymore. You got the screens. So how is that for you? I saw Kate Scott took over the Sixers. She can't go on the road. How does that change the way you call a game, not having the environment, the excitement of being in the stadium? How much more difficult does that make it for you?
Well, John, I'll tell you what, Jody can attest to this because he's been around me for many years. I got a head start on all these guys doing games remotely because the Spanish broadcast for the baseball for years, there's not enough booth space in a lot of these stadiums for the extra broadcast team. And especially with the NFL where you've got the home team radio and oftentimes you've got a syndication company, whether it's Westwood One or Sports USA or whatever, that occupy another booth. So I've been doing games off monitors, both baseball and football, for quite a long time. Now, for me, it's a lot easier off the monitors because it's a better view than some of the booths that I've been placed in over the years. Okay.
Yeah.
At Lambeau Field, basically in a broom closet in a corner, with all kinds of obstructions. Just to use as one example, the NFL, as has Major League Baseball, provide us plenty of angles. Now they don't give us the all 22 anymore because supposedly people were, or at least they were suspected of some cheating, some underhand things. Last year we had one of the screens on the all 22, which was great because I could actually see more off that all 22 screen than I can from the broadcast booth sometimes, or at least it's the equivalent thereof. But for me, it's nothing that surprises me. I've been doing it for years. And it looks to me anyway, I don't want to speak for that crew, but for Merrill and his guys that are next door, that sometimes off of these very high-tech monitors, which have the ability to really get up close. It's easier for the spotter to see the numbers on the backs, to call the game in more detail and be correct about what you're broadcasting. It's actually easier coming off of these monitors because the NFL does such a good job in providing you with so many different camera angles that we have at our disposal.
And, oh, by the way, Ricky, if you're doing it from a pretty empty Lincoln Financial Field when the Eagles are playing on the road, you don't have to fear someone trying to climb into your booth like happened in Baltimore this past weekend. I know you've done it for baseball game and when you're down at the link for Eagles home game. What's the best story you have sharing an experience while the game is ongoing with a fan base? Anybody wave, anybody throw anything at you? What's your best fan interaction broadcast?
I'll tell you what, Jody, the night I needed a security escort to be taken out of Soldier Field, the night of the No Senor call, okay? Where I was placed that night, I literally had fans. There were Eagle fans that were shaking my hand. That was that close where they placed us. John, it's very similar. Jody, I don't know if you've been to the broadcast area in Washington.
Oh, you're way the hell out of it.
Right, but you literally have fans that can reach up and shake your hand. You're that close to the fan base. And that's not just Spanish. That's Merrill. That's everybody. It's just the way they made it. But at Soldier Field that night, when I went nuts with the No Senor call, there were things being thrown at me by the Bear fans, and then I was actually being protected by the Eagle fans. So you had people battling right below me, Eagle fans saying, no, that's our guy. You ain't throwing nothing at him. And then security had to walk me out of Soldier Field that night. That was historic, but I've never seen anything like it.
That's funny.
The emotion of the fan base, it fuels everything.
And the Eagle fan, John, as you know, travels very well.
Oh, they were all over Vegas, and it's amazing. I feel bad for the fans. You see this product, obviously, costs a nice chunk of change to get out to Vegas these days. So, and then to be rewarded with that type of performance, what can we expect? Last one, Ricky. How do you turn this around? Can you turn it around from a coaching perspective with this personnel? Bottom line,
sure.
That's where you are.
I think this is what you've got. Look, I would love to see a veteran. Let's say, I'm going to throw a name out at you. But let's say you bring in a guy like a Wade Phillips in as a consultant to try to help out some of the young guys on the defensive side, or maybe some sort of veteran quarterback mentor to tutor Jalen Hurts and now Minshew going forward. The one thing that this coaching staff does not have is a quote-unquote consultant. They don't have to be a coordinator, but a consultant from a veteran point of view to be able to guide some of these young guys, in their rookie season here in these positions of power. Whether they do that, I'm not sure whether at this point it's even, you got 10 games left in the season. You're going to sink or swim with what you got. But this coaching staff better start analyzing themselves and really internally taking a look at what they're doing, because what I am most fearful of is that at some point soon here they lose this locker room completely. We're starting to see some cracks in the armor, and I don't want these cracks to become, bigger than what they already are. They need to get this thing reeled in. And a loss in Detroit this Sunday could mean some sort of major change one way or the other, whether it's Howie saying, all right, I've got a couple of days to make some deals before Tuesday, November the 2nd, a week from today, the trade deadline, or maybe bringing in, some consultant help on the coaching staff. We'll see, but this is a big one on Sunday. I'd rather be anywhere else. I'd rather play the Buccaneers again this Sunday than go into Detroit, because if you lose to the Lions this week, I think it tilts things.
Come on, Ricardo. They're going to win on Sunday. The Lions find a way to lose every week. They're going to find a way to lose to the Eagles.
All right.
It's going to be a Jake Elliott 57-yard field goal at the gun. That's what they're going to need.
That's what
how
it's
the
going to
Lions
take,
lose.
John.
Yeah.
An Elliott C. Senor.
Yes.
Si,
There we
senor.
go.
Si,
Si,
senor.
senor.
All right.
We'll
And one
see.
more thing, by the way. Is
Yeah.
Marty Morningwig available to come back for about the 9th time? If you're
Yeah.
looking for a consultant on the offensive, why don't we go down that Marty Morningwig
Yeah.
road again? Did he
Jody?
sign with anybody, John? Do either of you know
No.
of the top?
Marty-
Is he
Marty's
getting
out
paid
there.
by anybody these days?
Nah, he's texting reporters. That's what Marty's doing.
Look, I wouldn't be against that. I mean, you
Yeah.
need somebody with a different set of
No.
eyes.
I was kidding. We don't need to do Marty Morningwood again.
All right.
We've done that too many times. Been there, done that. You can't continue to do the same thing and accept different results. That's insanity. No.
Jim Schwartz is
Insanity.
consulting down in Tennessee, and they just shut down Kansas City. He'd be nice to have.
All right, so he's busy. We can't have him. Mr. Ricardo, muchas gracias, senor. Thank you very much for coming on. We'll get you back on again later in the season, and I'll talk to you later tonight.
Anytime, gentlemen. John, good to see you. Jody, we'll talk again tonight on the radio. But I tell you what, I'm nervous about this week. I really am.
Thanks,
They're
Ricky.
gonna beat the Lions. Come on.
I got a makeup. If you need somebody from Detroit, I'm all in. I'm saying it right now.
You got it. So be it, gentlemen. We'll see.
Ricky,
Good.
thanks, buddy. That's Rickie Ricardo, voice of the Eagles and Espanol. All right, I felt bad last week because I kind of got out in front of it that I like the Raiders to win the game. I think I said it for the first time on Tuesday. So it's Tuesday now, and as the week went on, I felt stronger about the Raiders beating the Eagles this week. I am just as strong. I am more strong on the Eagles beating the Lions this week. Right now, Tuesday on the record, W for Philadelphia on Sunday. There's no way the Lions not win one for the deuce. It's not happening.
Win one
Dan
for the
Campbell
deuce.
can fight all the kneecaps that he wants. It's not happening. The Eagles are beating the Lions on Sunday.
I hope so, because Ricky is right. If they don't win this game, whoo, does it turn ugly.
When
You lose to a winless Detroit team, that is not going to go over well. Early in the week, and I revert, I could change this, but reserve the right to change. Early in the week, I'm with you. I think the Eagles are going to find a way to win this game because Detroit finds a way to lose games.
Every week.
Yeah. They find, and some of them are heart-wrenching, and I feel bad for that fan base, but they always find a way to lose a game. But man, the Eagles are playing poorly. You got to figure out, okay, how do they win a game? How do they win a game? It's more about not how do they win. It's about how Detroit loses.
How the Lions find a way to not lose. I
Yeah.
do not believe it's happening. All right, Johnny Mac, Jody Mac coming back. What are we going to do?